Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my Pick a Pile readings. And this spread will be directly connected to the full moon in Taurus, also known as the harvest moon or blue moon super moon here in 2020. So my intentions is to offer you guidance, support, insight, and wisdom for this energy. The full moon is a time for releasing, harnessing the energy. And so I'm going to start with the Moonology deck. I'm going to pull 3 different cards to get our themes. And I did pull out the blue moon card already, and this is an overall message for all 3 piles. So believe in the impossible. So it almost feels like this gap from where we're at and all the clutter in the middle, and then the outcome, the thing, right? Like what we've been waiting for, hoping for, dreaming, wanting to manifest. And I know from speaking with clients, a lot of people have been feeling held back or having to really work on their inner stuff in order to propel forward. So I feel like this spread will offer you support in how to get there, how to manifest miracles in your life. So we'll see how that unfolds. Again, I'll start with the Moonology deck. And then I'm going to pull a guide to support you through this blue moon energy from the Divine Feminine Oracle Guidebook. And then what her suggestion is that you can surrender this full moon weekend. And then what her gift, what she'll be gifting you through this energy. And then we'll finish with an overall message from Sufi wisdom. So let's begin. Let me invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light who would like to assist with this guidance for you today. This full moon, blue moon, Halloween reading. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, friends, how do we get from the impossible to the possible? 3 cards. Mother Moon. What 3 messages can we pull from? So, 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's begin. So for pile 1, the message is a new start is coming, new moon. I love it. For pile 2, a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. Interesting. And for pile 3, we have your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. So these will be the themes of the piles. Maybe you already know pile 1, 2, or 3. If you do, you can just skip ahead. I'm going to put the timestamps in the description box below. And there'll also be a timestamp when I pull all the piles so that you can sit and meditate for a moment on the piles if you're not sure yet. All right, so Divine Feminine, Mother Moon, what guide wants to come out and connect with pile 1? These cards are slippery and wiggly. So, pile 1. Let's see here. Pile 1. Pile 2. What guide wants to connect with pile 2? And pile 3. What divine feminine guide wants to connect with pile 3? Interesting. So there's 2 guides here. I'm going to take them. And for pile 1, to move forward and assist, what needs to be surrendered? Pile 2, to move forward, what needs to be surrendered? Pile 3, what needs to be surrendered, or what can be surrendered during this full moon week? And what is the gift? What is the gift that pile 1 will be receiving in this full moon, blue moon? What's the gift for pile 1? What's the gift for pile 2? And the gift for pile 3. What will they be gifted with? Pile 3. Yes. And finally, what is the overall message for pile 1? I feel like I want to redefine that. What is going to be the ray of sunshine? The outcome, the breath of fresh air, the positive note overall. Through the darkness into the light. Pile 1. Pile 2. What's the outcome? The gift of sunshine overall. And pile 3. Darkness into the light. What is that beautiful message of sunshine for pile 3? All right. Okay, so pausing for a moment. The full energy of the piles are here. All the cards are chosen. Just take a moment, drop down from your head into your heart. Take a deep breath. Read the statements once more. A new start is coming. A fiery climax approaches. Your commitment is being tested. Where are you being guided? You may hear the pile. You may feel it. You may just know the pull. Okay, let's begin. And for those of you who chose pile 1, welcome. So we have a new start is coming. Believe in the impossible. So for those of you who chose pile 1, you may be feeling angst. You may be feeling the urge to do something, to make something happen. And right now, I feel like you're being guided to pull back and just sit with that inner wisdom this weekend, in this full moon energy, just connecting to the wisdom. It's almost like I'm being guided to share that be mindful of impulsivity, right? Maybe it's like responding to something impulsively or trying to force something or make something happen. It feels like there's this angst or this when, how, what if, and I feel like this is just validating that a new start is coming. Hold on. All right, so the guide that came out, Bridget, the goddess of the eternal flame. She says, I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows bigger. Gorgeous. One of the messages I just heard is, help is on the way, you're not alone. So this full moon, so again, if you're feeling angst, if you're feeling, oh, maybe I should be doing something, or maybe I should be making change, I feel like Bridget is reminding you to reconnect with that flame within. So in the heart, the spiritual heart, we carry the spiritual flame that embodies divine love, divine wisdom, and divine power. And when we're plugged into the machine of the 3D world, that eternal flame or that spiritual flame can shrink and dull down to 1/8 of an inch. So I'm feeling, those of you, if you're starting to feel energetically depleted, if you chose pile 1, if you know you're close, you're feeling something's coming, or you've been working towards something, what you can do instead of forcing an action or making a change or reacting to some impulsivity, which is a very common trait of EarthAngels, Bridget is reminding you to reignite the flame within, and that's self-love, self-gratitude, trust in the divine feminine wisdom that's flowing through you, and reconnecting to the essence of divine love, divine wisdom, and divine power. So the plume of the pink is divine love of the flower. The plume of the yellow is divine wisdom, and the plume of the flame that's blue is connected to divine power. So even bringing those colors together, blue, pink, and yellow, are just powerful colors to ignite the flame within you. So you know when somebody's flame is ignited because you can see the light in them. If you've ever been in a restaurant or you've ever been out somewhere and you just see somebody who's just lit up, like you just know they're your people. You're connecting with the threefold flame in their heart. And so I'm feeling, as you're purging and releasing and just mindful of the angst or you're feeling what's going on in the world and there's a lot of unknown and uncertainty, I feel like Bridget is coming in to remind you to go back within and connect with the wisdom of the heart. Really allow Mother Moon to nurture you. Some of you might be guided back to doing womb energy, going back into that abyss of energy, stillness, pause this weekend, especially if you're feeling impulsive or you're feeling like, oh, this is never going to happen, or you're going into that like fear space. Just recognizing it and acknowledging it. Thank you. I recognize it, and being able to ignite that flame, that light within, even calling on Goddess Bridget to assist with that. So what she suggests you surrender. Wow, negative thinking. It's never going to happen. Nobody's supporting me. So the message here says you have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. This is almost like I've been working towards this and it's not taking form, or I'm not really sure what to do. I feel like something is coming. I want to validate that. I want to validate those feelings. I want to validate the experiences you're having along lot of Earth Angels are feeling that, myself included. And it really is, we're learning how to strengthen our own presence in how we're feeling. We're really working on our mental and definitely our emotional bodies. Nobody in the outside world can do that work for you. They can sure activate it. They can surely mirror it back. And so I feel like those of you who chose pile 1 are being asked to pull back and pause and connect with that inner wisdom, that eternal flame within that knows your higher purpose, connecting with the essence of your soul. So maybe checking in to see how you're getting pulled up and outside plugging into the machine. A lot of times we need a break from that. I mean, obviously we live on this planet. We live in a consumer world of materialism, and I can tell you that can be a lot of fun. But when we start to become consumed by it and driven by it, especially in, debt and responsibility and a limitation of time, right? We can really get pulled into that linear masculine energy and crave that feminine flow, movement, freedom, right? That magnetic manifesting energy. So if you're feeling depleted or you're feeling short, you're feeling like, oh, when is this going to happen? Pull back and reconnect with the essence of your spiritual soul self this weekend, and just ask that wisdom, how can I reframe my thoughts? So we're so programmed in thinking a certain way that we're not even aware of the energy it creates. So recently I've been increasing the depth of my prayer and my gratitude with God at night. And, I noticed that my gratitude was based on like singular things, material things, like grateful for my car, grateful for my dog, grateful for food, grateful for heat in my house, right? And so I asked God, I'm like, which was okay, but I was like, how can I deepen that practice to really feel it in the core of my being? Because it was starting to just become rote. And so when I thought about being grateful for my dog in my life, I'm like, well, what does he offer me? He offers me companionship, friendship, joy, unconditional love. So I took this one thing, my best bud, my dog, and I was able to bring more depth into the words. So, and it really is able to open up the expansion of, like I said, that negative thinking. I'd go like, well, what if I lose him? And, I don't even want to think about that. And so I started thanking God for friendship and companionship and, giving and receiving and unconditional love. And so I was able to take that one thing and expand it, which can now open up to many different ways, not just through my dog, but I'm opening up the vibration to many different ways that friendship and companionship and unconditional love can come into my life. I have this heated blanket on my bed that I love to get in a warm bed. And when I get in, I'm just like, I love this. I love this heated blanket. But then I took it even further. I'm like, I love warmth. I love to feel nurtured. I love to feel comforted. So I was able to take that like a soft blanket or a heated blanket. I was able to expand it. So now I'm open to the many different ways comfort and warmth and nurturing can come into my life. So be mindful of how just be aware of how you're feeling when you're saying words or what you're thinking. Are you feeling the restriction, the rigidity in your body? Are you feeling the tension? If you are, just notice it. And this requires a level of coming back to the self this weekend, coming back to being present with how you're feeling. You're not going to know all the answers, but when you can ask, when you can open up to the divine, right? Show me where this is coming from. Some of you may already know, like, oh yeah, I got sucked into it. Oh yeah, I know. Some of you may be like, man, that comes up for me all the time. I just don't get it, right? When you can say to the divine, show me what I need to know about this. Show me what I'm doing. Show me. And you'll get it in the most beautiful, loving way where you're like, I hear it. I see it. So it might even be, for example, like you're not even aware you say something. And then all of a sudden your kid says it exactly the way you do. And you're like, whoa, thank you. There's the reflection, right? That's how the divine comes in a funny way. So be mindful of your thoughts and be willing to release that, or be open to the universe showing you how you can make these minor adjustments. Again, say thank you for sharing, and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. Like I said, like just being able to expand it into the feeling, right? Comfort, nurturing, support, unconditional love, shelter, right? I love my home that I live in, but it also provides shelter, stability, safety, security, right? So it's not just this singular place that I live. It's also providing a multitude of feelings that can now come back to me in many different ways. This is how accessing that inner light in the feeling body, activating that divine feminine energy. Now you become a magnet to co-create with the universe. This feels good. More of this in my life, or something even better. So what's being gifted to you? What is the moon gifting you this cycle? Realization. Wow. So card number 3 to me is the connection of the Holy Spirit, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity. It also is balance of the masculine and feminine. Maybe things have been all work, no play, and you're like, I need something new. I'm ready to jump ship. Realization. So realization could also be those aha moments, those sticky things that we didn't necessarily want to see. Like that shadow stuff where like, oh, I see it. Again, negative thinking, or really feeding into gossip. I know it's kind of fun, but it's not always nourishing to feed into gossip and what's going on. It really dulls our flame, right? I'm feeling like karma, like karmically energy is being stirred up. Now, there are going to be plenty of videos on YouTube so that you can get a more in-depth understanding of the full moon in Taurus and what the blue moon means and where the astrology is. I know Venus is also activated in that, in Libra, so I'm not going to get into it, but I really encourage you to go more in depth with this full moon so that you can understand where this all plays out. And it affects your moon sign. It affects your energy and the people that are around you. So I think there's going to be aha moments. This doesn't always have to be a negative thing. You might have something reflected back at you like, wow, I never really saw that about me. Oh, really? So I was challenged with an area in my life, and I'm like, what is it? I'm just making all of these excuses. There's all these reasons. And I'm like, God, what is it? Like, what's my problem? And I thought about a similar experience I had in the past, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid. That's what it is. I'm afraid. And when I could declare that, saying, God, I'm afraid, it was actually liberating. So I had this aha moment, but it was actually liberating. I had this realization like, oh, wow, I was making all these excuses, and it was making it all about the other people or the other experiences. And I'm like, son of a gun, of course, I'm afraid. And then I was able to work with it. So if you can create pause this weekend to sit with like a challenge that, like, what is keeping you from this, right? What is the thing? It could be the job, it could be the health, it could be the romantic partnership, it could be a community, it could be personal development or growth. If you can just sit with that, like I know I feel I've done so much inner work on myself. I feel this is coming. I know, like, what is it? Like, where is the gap? Where is the block? And we really need to feel frustrated and tension in order for energy to move. So if you can just see the tension and the difficulties and the challenges that we're experiencing, and know that that's part of transformation, that if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling uncertain, if you're feeling like aggravated, annoyed, or emotional, it is part of the squeeze for change and transformation. So asking yourself, okay, what may I be resistant to? What am I not seeing? Shine a light on this for me. The veil is thinnest, and the divine is speaking through dreams, through signs, through messages. There's so much happening now. And, I'd encourage you to unplug from the machine as much as possible, right? That's, the outside world. I know there's a lot going on and we all feel like we need to know, but just pay attention to how you're feeling, and if you need to unplug, honor that this weekend. So Sufi wisdom, overall message for you for this blue moon is work of art. Be the portrait of divine beauty. Beautiful. It's interesting because I'm seeing the light flowing into the womb space. For me, that is definitive. That's showing me you're creating something, right? A new start is coming. You're birthing something. And you may be in that tense energy, right? I can't do it. It's too hard. It's too much, right? And feel for pile 1. It's all connected to mental, emotional energy. You've done a lot of the work, so it's really divine timing now and divine order at this point. And now it's working through strengthening your inner core mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So remembering that you're a work of art. Bridget will help you remember your beauty, your radiance, right? Some of you, I think I mentioned early in this reading, going into the womb space, right? Some of you may need to allow yourself to be nurtured and comforted and cherished by, maybe you got a partner, maybe your child, maybe the divine itself. So how may you have started to come out of alignment with your beauty and your light. This is coming. It's already there. Believe in the impossible, right? We're making the impossible possible now, manifesting. So how can you just fine tune? It almost feels like, so I have this new apartment and I've been getting all this new furniture and I've been putting it together myself. And at the end of, once the furniture is all together, I go around it all and I just make sure everything's tight. That's the space that you're in right now. It's like almost like you've built it. It's there. You're just kind of going around and fine tuning, making some minor adjustments in your own energy field. This has nothing to do with anybody else, and it's more of your light, right? It says, the goddess of the eternal flame, my light grows bigger. So reconnect with your light. This could be what is dulling that. Maybe it's around you. Maybe it's you yourself and you're not aware of it, and getting back to your own divinity. Maybe it's back into the womb. Maybe it's realizing that you're birthing something and you're actually in the push part of the birthing cycle, right? And this is why it's painful right now. Maybe you've planted seeds and now it's just nurturing and things need to take time to grow. Check in with yourself and then be willing to release that control, the forcing, the angst, the doubts that might be coming up. And really the healing is recognizing it like, oh, I see it, I feel it, thank you. Instead of pushing it, instead of being annoyed with yourself or aggravated with yourself for it coming up again, just saying, there it is. Thank you for the reminder. I'm coming out of alignment with the essence of my true self, my eternal flame, working with the threefold flame. You can actually look that up, threefold flame of the heart, divine love, divine wisdom, divine power, reconnecting with that. So there is your guidance for this full moon, blue moon reading, pile 1. So thank you so much for watching. If this resonated, if you wouldn't mind giving this a like, sharing it, maybe subscribing to the channel. Either way, I send you love with heavenly hugs. And pile 2, welcome. So a fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. Interesting. So interestingly enough, as I paused on that, I heard John Mayer's song in my head, Say What You Need to Say. Ooh, so this could come this weekend from the buildup of holding back. It could be communication. It could be the release of energy. For me, I'm feeling pressure or the buildup of something. So this full moon, it could also be having a conversation where you thought the outcome, like maybe you wouldn't be heard, or maybe somebody wouldn't understand, or they wouldn't get it. This moon could also maybe support you, and what might appear like they'll never understand, they'll never get it, it's never going to happen. It's almost like believe in the impossible. I feel like this has to do with communication. I'm going to pull the other cards, but I feel like this right off the bat is like a buildup of something. And you're going to need to speak. So if that's the case, definitely call on the Archangel Gabriel. He's the angel of communication. He helps us to speak our truth, speak from the heart. Things may get argumentative with people, and you can also choose to opt out of it. I think that's another option for pile 2. Let's get into the rest of the cards and see where we go with this. So the guide, wow. So Bridget came out in pile 1, and now we have Saint Bridget, Our Lady of Exalted Light. It says, I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. Wow. I feel like this is coming out of shortness, feeling depleted, feeling a lack of energy. You might feel the fatigue this weekend. You might feel the shortness, the buildup. Maybe something is building up or brewing within you. And I feel like Bridget is calling you back. It says, my soul is all I need. This could be drastic changes. And again, I don't want to label it good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. On some soul level, you've asked for this change emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Could be part of your karma, could be part of your destiny. So I feel like, how can you allow this weekend? How can you allow movement? Honestly, what I keep getting is constipation. And that could be some of you specifically. It's being so bound up, like so tight, so stressed that we're just kind of, or tense, that we've got this buildup of energy. And this weekend could be the release of that. This full moon could be the release of that tension, that fear. And Saint Bridget is reminding you of your own life, of your own light. I also feel she's saying receive from her. If you're feeling tired, depleted, and drained, she's reminding you that her light is without end. The divine's light is without end. So it's an endless supply that you can pull from. Some of you may have unconsciously or unknowingly shut yourself off from receiving divine love, divine support, right? Because you've been focused on action, responsibility, have-tos and shoulds, and there's this buildup of it, aggravation. People's lives are changing, people, have had parties every year, or they've had things that have changed, and family dynamics have changed, and the way of doing things has changed, and the world doesn't like change. That's why there's so much aggression, right? So I feel like if you're feeling the depleted or the depletion this weekend, call on Saint Bridget, remembering that the divine is an infinite supply of light to fill you to overflowing. This will require pause, stillness, a break, a time out, especially for my action-oriented friends who are watching this channel. And so what does Saint Bridget feel you need to surrender to this full moon, blue moon? Wow. Surrender to your full power, right? So sometimes this energy makes us feel powerless, right? People are pulling at us. There's so many have-tos and shoulds, and we're just like, enough. I don't want to do it anymore. So this could be a release, something explosive, charged. So the message here says, your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small. Wow. I'm also getting the program, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And because of that, when we have this inner program of I'm not enough, we tend to unconsciously overcompensate, overlove, overgive, overshare, overdo. So you might be maxed with this full moon, and know that it's human, it's normal, and instead of like that explosion or that passive aggressive cycle and just becoming withdrawn, how can you approach it differently? How can you call on Bridget and ask her to fill you with the light? How can you call on God, angels, guides, Mother Moon, the Divine Mother? How can you ask them to shine a light on a different way? This could be an opportunity for you to break a cycle. If you move through these things in the same way, this could be a great time for you to flip the script, take a time out, step into your full power, remembering that with God at your back, with this light, you're never, ever, ever moving through life alone. But we can really forget that when that ego part of us, right? That controlling part, could be the inner critic, it could be the inner bully that we're supposed to be learning from, takes over, right? I'm reading this book called A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, and she connects the ego and the Holy Spirit with, for example, like the story of Cinderella, where she connects the ego mind with the evil stepmother and the stepsisters that was always picking on Cinderella and making her do all these things, and it was never good enough. And she relates the Holy Spirit to Prince Charming that comes along and sees Cinderella's beauty. He sees past her rags, and he's able to see her beauty, right? So think of it as like the Holy Spirit is coming for you. The Holy Spirit has your glass slipper, has your pathway to liberation and freedom and joy and happiness and love. All we have to do is invite and be open to that energy coming in. And I just keep seeing, follow the light, follow the light. Notice this weekend how maybe you've been following or spinning your wheels, and how you haven't really been consciously making decisions. This full moon is going to bring in full power for you. There's going to be shifts and transformations, and ask yourself, how am I playing it so small? How am I dulling my light? It could be a really great time for journaling this weekend. God, show me why, or show me how, or show me what I need to do to step into when is enough enough? That's what I feel like. When is enough enough? When are these behaviors, these thought patterns, these experiences we keep having that are not it's almost like keeping us in the space of surviving, right? How can you move? Or maybe that's the inquiry question with this. How can I move from surviving to thriving, right? So the buildup of the have-tos, the shoulds, the responsibilities, the worries, the fears, the doubts, and how can I step into thriving? And really that comes from full belief, full faith, full trust, full openness that we have this force of love that is moving us forward. But in order to really experience that, we have to, or really lean into that, we have to have these challenges, these hiccups, these bumps, these annoyances, these adversities, right? To put the squeeze on us. So when you do step into this, man, it is sweet and it feels good. So what are you being gifted with this full moon, blue moon? The path. Oh, wow. So I think some of you are going to have a major release in some way. Maybe it's an aha moment. This is by no means scary. It's actually, I'm revitalized and I'm excited. And when you are ready, you're like, I've had enough. I am done. I am not living this way, right? If you notice, if you're in the space of surviving, how can you be gifted with the pathway to thriving? This is 8. So the 8 is a number of abundance. Look at that. Going up. We were talking about, right? Full power. This is control. I've got to do it. If I ask them, I might get pushback. They might get no. So we can make all this stuff up in our minds without just asking or without just saying what it is that we need or surrendering it in some way. 8 can also be cycles and rhythms. So this full moon can also shine a light on the patterns that you keep repeating over and over again that are no longer beneficial. And it's going to require you moving into the energy of uncertainty and the unknown. This is why having that light, that connected to that light, is so powerful. It's like, follow the light. I'm even taking it even further and seeing, like, I'm seeing the energy of the 3 wise men in the old traditional story of the 3 wise men when they were they got the vision that the king was born, and they saw the star and they're following the star. So following the light, you might get some insight, you might get some guidance, and you might not have something definitive, but yet you're following the light and you're like, my soul is pulling me towards this. That's the path, right? Kind of walking in the darkness, but it can actually be an exciting time and actually move you into your full power. Wow, that's really cool. So you'll be gifted the pathway, even if it's a light on the next step for you. All right, and final message, the overall gift, the energy of sun. What is the outcome? Time to play. I feel like some of you were like, oh, that would be nice. So it says, make time to dance and play, right? This is that part of moving into your full power. It doesn't mean more work, more responsibilities, right? It means having freedom to come and go. This is like the new energy. This is why entrepreneurship is exploding right now. You're seeing many, many, many different people starting their own businesses. I love that I'm seeing on my social media pages so many women embarking on these new business journeys, and they're really stepping stones into that feminine, creative, creating wealth through our divine gifts, right? Through beauty. So, I'm personally seeing a lot of people stepping into, there is like this color street, these nail polish sticky things that you put on your nails, and there's makeup, and then there's like all different kinds of beauty, which is really the harness, or really the 3D version of the divine feminine, right? And from there's so much growth that's going to come from it. So it's not just nail polish, or it's not just makeup, or it's not just clothes or just lashes. There's so much more to it, and I have so much respect for them, because I'll tell you, that's the hustle, right? That's the putting yourself out there, stepping into your full power, right? So, there's so many people that are moving away from being told how much they're worth and what time they have to be somewhere. And I was just having a conversation with a friend, like, who wants to sit in traffic? And, after us all being home during this pandemic, who wants to sit in traffic? Who wants to go back to that old way of punching a clock, right? So this is what the pathway is to: play, adventure, fun, laughter, freedom, right? Obviously I work hard, but not in a way where it's grueling and a grind and I'm exhausted by it. I really enjoy the work that I'm doing. So it's not necessarily, I don't consider it work like the traditional sense when I was a paralegal, right? So I am playing, I am on my path, I'm ignited by light, I'm in my full power. And that is what the world needs to see more of, right? People who are inspiring others through their own action, right? Wow. That's, again, moving mountains and creating things from things that would appear to be impossible. God is activating miracles through us. We are, us who are open up to the light and on this spiritual path, we are the example of miracles on earth, right? They said it couldn't be done. Well, watch me. I'm doing it, right? And so if you've been holding back on that energy, or, you're going to be asked to really step into self-esteem, worth, value, confidence. It kind of goes with the first pile. This is an extension. That's kind of how my readings work. Like 1, 2, and 3 all kind of go together. So we'll see with pile 3, but 1 and 2, this seems to be like the action part of that next step. So you might have already moved past pile 1 and now you're at the stage of pile 2. And that's why you picked pile 2 first. And so we're being beacons of light on this planet by living our lives, picking up and moving and starting new things and putting ourselves out there. And people are watching, right? They're watching your growth. They're watching your expansion. They're watching your change. And some people may have judgments towards it. Some people might have resistance, and that's kind of their own stuff. But that's part of your challenge, to strengthen your own inner core and believe in yourself, right? As you move forward on this new journey that you're creating for yourself. Wow, I love it. All right, so pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you or it spoke to you, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. If you want more of these, hit that subscribe button. And I thank you so much for watching. I send you love with heavenly hugs. All right, those of you who chose pile 3, welcome. Your commitment is being tested. I already feel pile 1, 2, and 3 all go together. And I'm also feeling like if you chose pile 3, then you've already moved through the stages of pile 1 and 2, and that's why you're here. And so pile 3, I'm feeling that maybe you've made some changes, maybe you've made some adjustments, maybe you've taken some leaps of faith. I'm seeing a lot more people opening up businesses and taking leaps of faith. And so it's very common to feel the buildup of that energy and then the release of it, and then things to like plateau. And I feel like this pile is starting off with believing in yourself. The divine needs to know where you stand. With our free will, right? We have ego, or we have the divine mission, and they're intertwined because we learn from both of them. So there's a lot of spiritual fragments out there, if that's what I want to call it. There's a lot of streams of thought. People are awakening, so everybody's expert, right? So there's so much that's surfacing right now, and people have so much time that there's just a lot of information that's out there. It's not good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. Everybody's in a stream, right? In a flow. So those of you who chose pile 3, I feel like if you're being challenged through this full moon, or if it's bringing up stuff for you, it could be a time to dot your I's, cross your T's, and to make sure you're really in it. So on my spiritual journey, in my career, I've been doing this work for 13 years. October marks my 13th year in business. It's the start of my 13th year in business. And I have seen so many people come and go, which is fine. There's no judgment to that, because those pathways on the spiritual journey, like so many people maybe have opened up practices, or have done card readings, or have taken classes and done energy therapies, and then they've morphed into something else, right? Right now, I feel like those of you who chose pile 3, this is saying stay the course. There's a lot of, I want to use the word false prophets that are being exposed. So maybe you've been behind the scenes, maybe you're getting fired up about things, maybe your journey and your actions and what you've done has come to a halt. And so right now, you might not be in a space of action, but you're being asked to trust and have faith in divine order. This is just showing if you're ready, right? So if I didn't work on my own self-esteem, my own worth, my own value, I have been working on my finances the last 3 years, for example. I've been working on savings. I've been working on my belief systems with money. I've been working on my credit score and my credit in general. And I've been learning about money and energy and how it works and appreciate it. And so I've had 3 years of this major shift with growing up with lack, right? In the place of surviving, right? Just getting by, just having enough. Well, a couple of years ago, I just had enough, and I'm like, that's it. I give it up. Where now that I look back, here I am in 2020, because I did that work 3 years ago, and trusted and really diligently made changes in my life and honored my journey and really cut back and shifted my thoughts into things and learned from teachers. And it was the blessing that I needed in 2020. So with me having to close my office, with me having to put office sessions on pause, my office isn't like, I'm not closed, meaning final, but right now my office is temporarily closed. And I had to make some adjustments, but because I had created a solid foundation for myself, this has been a really wonderful time for me to rest and recharge and recoup from the intensity of the 3 years that I just had. So right now, you might be asked the universe could be creating a diversion in your life. Maybe you've been going the course on something, and then something else is just taking your time and taking your attention. The universe is saying, trust in the seeds that you've sown, and that they're assisting you with dotting your I's and crossing your T's, right? In order for me to grow, I needed to have a good grasp on financial security and safety and protection. And I'll tell you, before 3 years ago, in the last 3 years, I was very much my feminine energy. Didn't really care about it. I never really knew how much I was making. I knew bills were paid. And, I really kind of looked at it and I'm like, okay, I can't keep living that way. How do I activate and work on my own inner masculine? Right? For a lot of people, for a lot of earth angels out there, you were really good with your masculine, could pay your bills or on top of things, but you weren't necessarily in touch with your inner feminine, your intuition, right? Your self-care, self-love, the gentleness, compassion, the nurturing. So you really had to look at the inner critic, right? And this, like, creating that balance. Right now, you're in this space where I think you might be diverted, or you might be in this space where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Oh, I'm not sure if it's going to work out. Know that right now it's like calling on God, calling on the divine and asking them for assistance. There's so much that's being weeded out right now. So have patience. That was a long intro for that card, but I think there's 2 guides here too. So let me put this up here and let me pull the 2 guides. We have, oh gosh, God bless, I'm never going to be able to say this right. Machig Labdron, the diamond-hearted Dakini. It says, I see the light in my own darkness. I face my ego beliefs to feel free. Wow, see? So again, you may have started something. Maybe it's not working out. Maybe there's hiccups and bumps. And now you're like, well, let me throw all caution to the wind. The universe is saying here, wait a minute, time out. And this guide, she is helping you see the light in your own darkness. So this is shadow work, right? Maybe you're not aware of your limiting beliefs, your thoughts, your ideas. I believe in the beginning of pile 1, I don't think I said it in the intro, but in the beginning of pile 1, I mentioned where I've been working on manifesting in an area of my life, and I heard myself when I was talking about it with friends making all these excuses, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm making all these excuses. What is this about? And so I went into the darkness. I went into the shadow. I connected with God, and I asked him, I said, what do I need to know about this? Like, what's my problem? And I remembered another situation in my life at that moment that was similar. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid. So my ego was making all these excuses and making all the reasons about everybody else and everything outside of me. And I'm like, son of a gun, I'm afraid. And when I got that, I was actually very liberating. It wasn't sad. There was some freedom in it. Like, wow, okay, I can work with that. I'm afraid. Whew, all right. That's a starting point where I didn't see it before. And so, like I said, things may have come to a standstill. And I feel like I'm seeing the word magic in this. Magic. And I feel like your own inner darkness may surface in this full moon. Stuff to look at, like where you need to be honest with yourself, right? Are your finances in order? Are you like in a routine, listening to your body and drinking enough water? Like, it's like, how are you going to take care of your physical vessel as the universe gifts you with more and expansion and growth, right? I face my ego beliefs to feel free. That's intense for this weekend, right? This blue moon on Halloween when the veil is the thinnest. I mean, this is amazing. So I feel like this is coming up for you because they want you to be revitalized by it and not fear it, right? They want you to be charged by it and nourished by the information. So for me, when I was like, I had the aha moment, like, oh my gosh, like I'm afraid. It was really liberating for me. Like my ego is creating all this diversion and distraction when the underlining is I'm just afraid. All right, my spiritual self, I can admit that I'm afraid. I've been here before. I can work with that. Calling on the Archangel Michael, right? And it allowed me to move forward in a healthier way. And I'll tell you, things started to shift immediately right after that. So the second guide that wants to come up, Khadijah. Ooh, I love it. The mother of believers. I am spiritually and financially abundant. I provide heaven and earth for myself. So she's going to assist you with thriving. So if you feel like you've just been surviving and you're like, I don't know about this spiritual stuff, I don't know, it's not really working out, right? And you're in that shaky place. These guides are coming in to assist you believe, right? You're in this space right now to really trust and surrender into. This doesn't mean give up power and control too. It's just surrendering into the moment of what is. Surrender to the moment of what is. And these beautiful beings, like, you'll have to go through this, right? The ego isn't something we can just shut off. The ego is a powerful energy that we can learn from. The shadow is so powerful, but it does require space and pause. And it requires you to look at yourself, right? I was fooling myself about my financial security. I'm like, yeah, I get money and blah, blah, blah. But things were like a mess. And so I had to really have a good, honest look. Like, if I'm going to grow in this way and I'm going to make these commitments, like, I need to really look at how secure I really am. And I had to really look at the fears that were making, that the fears were, the unconscious fears were assisting me in making poor decisions for myself, right? Impulsive decisions. And so I think I've mentioned this in my Sunday videos. So my new phrase is, when I want to make a decision about something or take something or do something or spend money on something, I pause and I'm saying, is this going to contribute to the quality of life I'm creating for myself? And I sit with it. But in order for me to say that, I had to know what quality of life am I creating for myself? What's important to me, right? This is what I think is coming out this full moon for you. So, what are you being asked to surrender this full moon, blue moon, to the goddesses? Wow, stress. This is amazing. Take a few deep breaths and exhale the tension you've built up in your body. Let the stress go as you come back to your center. Wow. Stress wreaks havoc on the body, right? We can get fuller in the stomach area, right? When there's stress. Maybe instead of the old way of running away from stress, or avoiding stress, eating stress, drinking stress, gambling stress, all that stuff, maybe you can ask her to help you understand what stress is providing you, right? So we could say, oh, I hate the stress, I hate the stress, I hate the stress. But you know what? On some soul level, you're getting something from it. I'm not necessarily saying it's healthy, but it's a story you may be telling yourself that is making it harder for you to get out of your own way. So you're just continuing to feel like you're surviving. The universe needs us to move into the space of thriving, to be the beacon of light on the planet, right? We're living by example now. Instead of telling everybody, we're becoming the embodiment of change on this planet. And I believe Khadijah will help you see. She'll help you see the light. She'll help you believe that you can make change, but understand that any change that you make a commitment to, your life is going to look different. Your approach to things are going to look different. So some of it is like, well, if I let go of the stress, then does that mean I'm becoming numb to it, or because I'm giving up, or that things aren't going to change, right? So there's a charge and a story connected to this. And I feel like she'll help you. Magic. Let's call her magic. I feel like she'll help you understand what the story is. And once you make that connection, whoosh, it's like by magically, you're like, son of a gun, I can own that about me. I get that. I know where it comes from. And detaching, like not attaching it to something or something. So sometimes if you keep seeing the same stresses in the world, it's stressing you out. How can you look back? Well, how am I how may I be doing that to myself? How may I be speaking to myself like that? How may I be unaware, right? This is how we mirror in the world. Wow. So what are you being gifted with this full moon? Oh, friends. Wow. Card number 6. 6 is stability. It's home. It's home within the self. It's creative energy. So you're being gifted with self-love. So it's getting tense and tough, right? And maybe your shadow stuff is surfacing. It's creating stress because change is happening in your life. So how can you love yourself through that? Really, how do I want to explain this? For me to feel like I'm in the space of thriving, for me to feel, I'm finally thriving and I'm so grateful and this feels so good and more of this in my life, and I feel it in every cell of my body. I went through a lot of years of surviving. I mean, when I opened my business 13 years ago, gas was almost $5 a gallon. And I remember that there were times where all I could do is go to the gas station and put $5 and get 1 gallon of gas in my car. And that was it. Like, I didn't know when the next time I'd be able to go. That's how depleted I was. But there was something I learned from that, right? And so now in this new space, I can honor it, I can cherish it, and I can appreciate it because I understand that severe lack. So that's why I say there is no good, bad, right, wrong, positive, or negative. It's experience that allows you to embrace life and love at a deeper capacity. So see this that you might be in as a blessing, as a something temporary, as a season in your life. And this will be so much richer. It will be so much more colorful, so much more alive because you've personally worked through the growth process. It's very exciting. So this goes deeper than just, I love myself and I'm going to put on, dress myself up. This is like when we're in the thick of it and we're kind of challenged, saying, I got this. I trust myself. I believe myself. I know I can do this. I am smart. I am wise. I am powerful, right? Or else we'll keep staying in this cycle. All right. So overall message, what's your ray of sunshine, overall outcome, heart of the matter. Align life's pathways through the heart. Wow. So I'm seeing like this angel praying over you. So those of you who watched pile 2 and then came to pile 3, that's the star that I saw. I mentioned in pile 2 that it's follow the light. I believe pile 2. Yeah. I said follow the light, and I made the connection of like the 3 wise men following the star. That's exactly what I saw, what I meant. So for those of you who chose pile 3 and are watching just this one for the first time, I feel like the divine is saying follow the light, and there's the light in your heart. So self-love and redefining what love and feeling loved is to you. I think that's important. So maybe this full moon, being able to journal and connect with the essence of your heart, what matters, because from there you'll make the best decisions through your own integrity and what's right. I mean, I get presented with opportunities all the time, things going on, events, opportunities, experiences, and each time I really have to check in with the mission, the message, with myself. Like, is this in alignment with who I am? And I've learned now to take pause and really say yes or no from that place of conviction. Like, I took time to myself to really sit with it, right? Instead of making impulsive, like, decisions based on people pleasing, right? So just redefining what your boundaries are, what your values are, what your needs are. This full moon can be powerful. What are you over? What are you sick of? What are you tired of, right? When you can actually look at it, these guides can come in and give you another perspective. I love this. Self-love, heart of the matter, the diamond-hearted Dakini coming in. Khadijah, again, I'm spiritually and financially abundant. She's helping you with your power, igniting your divine feminine light, which is the channel through the heart, right? So doing a heart chakra meditation this weekend may be beneficial. Reconnecting to love. Some of you might feel prickly. You might feel disconnected. Remember, all you got to do is open the window, turn on the light, look up, connect with that divine source, whatever that means to you, and you'll be amazed how miracles manifest in your life. This isn't about doing. It really is about pause and reflection and being able to accept, like, I see I'm doing that. I can see there's the story again. Yep, I get it. Okay, thank you, angels. Thank you for the reminder, right? Curiosity and compassion, right? Why? What is this about? Why is this so difficult and challenging? Being able to question the divine and getting that inner wisdom within, right? Align with life's pathways through the heart. Beautiful. This is your guardian angel, right? Here you are, vulnerability, raw, stripped bare. That's how you might be feeling. And the angels coming in to speak over you, pray over you, shining a light on you, right? Gifting you. And it starts with this, being able to really experience and feel the beauty of who you truly are. I love it. All right, so those of you who chose pile 3, thank you so much for watching. You can stay. I'm going to do the closing, but if not, and this pile resonated with you, click that like button. If you'd like more, hit that subscribe button. I thank you so much for watching. Share these if you know these messages can support or assist your loved ones. And I send you love with heavenly hugs. All right, so those of you who skipped to the closing prayer, I want to thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this pick a pile reading. I want to thank the divine mother, the divine feminine, the energy of the blue moon, full moon in Taurus for October 31st. For their the energy's assistance with shining a light for us. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. All right, friends, if you want to work with me or connect, or you want to hash out some of this stuff, maybe more came up and you want some guidance, connecting with a divine guidance session or a card reading could be extra beneficial. Or just keep watching the channel because more messages will come out. So thank you so much for watching. I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine. Trust your intuition. And I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.